everyone, it's Adam here, coming at you once again. I was recently tagged in a YouTube question challenge type of thing by Kurt Zitzelman. I will link his channel right below. And what it is 11 questions about the outdoors, what I like, stuff like that. So, with no further ado, let's get started here. We'll get with the first one. Don't mind me, I made a couple notes on my phone here along with the questions, just so I didn't have to ramble and you didn't get a lot of uhs and ums. So, first question is, do you prefer to go on a trip alone or with a group? Now, really that depends. I like to have company when I hike, but when I want to accomplish like some kind of challenge, if I have some kind of goal, I tend to prefer to do it alone. So that way I don't have to interfere with anybody else's fun per se. So that's my answer to that. It really depends, you know. Typically I like to, like I said, I like to have company. It's fun to, you know, talk, have conversations and stuff like that. But you know, like I said, if I have a goal that I'm working towards, I tend to like to go at that alone. So. Question number 2 was, what has been your most challenging trip or hike to date? There's two that really come to mind. Let's see, two that come to mind. First, I'd have to say, was my first ever backpacking trip on the Pinchot Trail. Donnie and I did that trip. We did like 11.1 miles our first day. My pack weight was like 45 pounds and not set up correctly, and it was a horrible trip. It was, I can't say horrible. I learned a lot on that trip, and that's probably the best thing you could do is just, if you're worried about going on a trip, just go, because you're not going to learn unless you do something. My second thought on that is this past past fall, late summer, fall, something like that. I forget the exact dates. When I did the Peekamoose Table Trail in the Catskills, New York. It was, don't quote, I'm not exactly sure. Someone I talked to told me this, but it is the most elevation gain of a trail in the Catskills. You gain like 3,100 feet or something like that from the base of the trail at the base of the mountain to the top of Peekamoose Mountain. And I forget the exact numbers on elevation, but that was a tough hike. I managed to do, I think it was like just over 4 miles or something like that in like 7 hours. It was pretty grueling, and it was very hot out that day too. So, what's the most beautiful, number 3, what's the most beautiful sleeping place so far? I'd have to say that was when Donnie and I did the Loyalsock Link Loop, and we slept on the banks of the Loyalsock Creek right next to a beautiful swimming hole. Man, that was just like a picture-perfect setup, right on the river. It was great. I'll see if I can link in a picture for that or not. I'm not sure. I'm not that tech-savvy yet, so we'll see what happens. Alright, number 4. What winter activities do you do? Well, I really enjoy ice fishing. I got a whole setup to be comfortable out on the ice. I got not a shanty, but you know, a pop-up shelter, everything like that. It's pretty fun. I enjoy it. It's just a challenge. It's a challenge to go and find fish under ice. I also enjoy, you know, obviously winter hiking, simply because of the different perspective that you get of things compared to summer. In summer, you may not see that cliff or that drop-off or something on the lines of that because of all the leaves. Well, in the wintertime, you could see so much farther without the vegetation. And it's a different perspective, and I really enjoy that. It's fun. So, number 5. Have you ever been seriously hurt outdoors? Luckily, no. Um, no, not I. No, not that I can think of. There was one time on the when me and Donnie did that Loyal Sock link loop. That's a story in itself. But what happened is it was a real hot summer day. We weren't drinking enough water to rehydrate ourselves, and both of us got pretty dehydrated to where we were feeling pretty sick. And we decided to bail on that trip. We just road walked back to the car, cutting a whole hunk of that trail out, and that's what we ended up doing. It happens. I've learned from it. I know to stay hydrated and to drink more, and when I start feeling that little bit of it's hard to describe, but when you start feeling that little bit of pang of, like, I'm a little thirsty, I'm starting to get a little bit of cramping, it's time to stop and drink some water, and don't guzzle it. That just makes your cramps worse. Drink a couple mouthfuls, sit 10, 15 minutes, drink another until you get down probably about a liter, and then you'll start feeling a little bit better. So, all right, number 6. Do you practice any special survival techniques? No. I know it's terrible. Not really. I do like to play with my fire steel every now and then, but for the most part of practicing survival, I try to steer away of putting myself in survival situations. I tend to not travel too far into the bush yet, and I just, if I see something and I'm by myself and I was like, that looks a little dangerous, I'll kind of steer away from it just to help alleviate that that scenario. So number 7, what do you think about permanent bushcraft camp? If you have a place to do it legally, I think Kurt said almost the same thing, that's great. Do it. If you want to practice that kind of stuff, awesome. But for me, I tend to like to practice low impact, leave no trace type of camping. Kind of, leave it better than the way you found it type of deal. Just kind of how I was always brought up, even in when I was younger and everything like that. So that's my my thoughts on that. So, all right, number 8. What's your favorite recipe for cooking outside? Typically, when I'm backpacking, I just eat dehydrated meals. I like a lot of the Mountain House stuff. It's not terrible. The only one that I say I definitely would not eat is Alpine Air. The omelets and eggs and stuff like that, that's gross. Probably one of my favorites is the chicken and dumplings. The biscuits and gravy is really good, and I really like the chili mac and beef. That's pretty. I enjoy that. And one thing I do with my Mountain House meals too is I'll put more water than what it calls for it, simply because when you're hiking all day, you tend to be a little dehydrated. That little bit of extra water is going to help you digest that food a little bit better and keep your system flowing, if you know what I mean. So, number 9, how do you motivate yourself in bad weather? As the saying goes, embrace the suck. Although if I see that there's a lot of bad weather predicted, I'll kind of steer around it and try to make my plans so I'm not stuck right in the middle of it. I'd rather be a little comfortable. There's times you have to deal with it, but other than that, like I said, embrace the suck. I know it's used 1,000 times and a lot of people hate it, but that's pretty much what it comes down to. So, number 10, what would be your dream destination? There's 2 that come to mind that are on the top of the list. One, not any particular order, but one is Goblin Valley in Utah. It just, the pictures look unreal, and I bet it's just 10 times better in real life. I'd really like to get out there sometime, check that out, all that area out there. And I'd also like to see some real desert. I've never seen real desert. Don't want to get trapped in it, but I'd like to see it. Second is going to a bush camp on a remote lake up in like, northern Canada, like Manitoba or something like that, and fishing for monster pike, trophy-sized pike. That's a dream of mine right there. I think that would be phenomenal, just to have that kind of experience, doing shore lunches, everything like that. I think that'd be awesome. So, and question number 11 is, what is your heaviest piece of equipment? I'd have to say my heaviest piece of equipment is my 2007 Gulfstream Gulf Breeze camper. It comes in at about 3,900 pounds. It's true. I love my camper, but I do all kinds of camping, whether it be backpacking, car camping, tent camping, camper camping. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you're in the woods, you're camping. I don't care how you're doing it, how, when, why, where, or what. As long as you're in the woods, just get outside. That's all I care about. But from a backpacking perspective, I'd have to say it's my my Snug Pack hammock quilt or blanket. It's a quilt, pretty much. Got a big foot box and stuff on it. Comes in at like just under 2.5 pounds. It's pretty heavy, but it's warm. It works for the time being until I can get a down top blanket. I'm just, I keep putting it off, but I'll get one of these days, so it makes my system just a little bit lighter. So, alright, now it's time for me to tag 3 other people and see what they have to say about this. First one I'm going to tag is Hiker G16. He's pretty cool. He's from out west, and he's on a lot of the live streams, everything like that. So I'd like to see what he has to say with these questions. My second is another Adam Z, Restless Outdoors. He tagged me in a video, so now it's your turn. Alright, and third is someone that I've never conversed with. I've watched his videos. I'm subscribed to him. I'd be curious to know if he responds at all. But it's Jack's Drinkwater. I really like his videos. His cooking videos are phenomenal. I get my mouth waters every time I watch them. But he just seems pretty cool. Jack's the Bearded Hiker. That's what he calls himself. So, well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. Any questions, comments, let me know. Please subscribe. I'm always looking for subscribers. I think last time I checked I was up to 160, which isn't great, but for making these stupid little videos that I have absolutely no editing skills or cinematography skills or anything like that, I'm quite satisfied with that. But yeah, any tips or tricks, anyone, I'm always open. And one thing that's great is doing all the live streams that we've been doing lately with Rocket Outdoors and Fit Chick and Kurt Zitzelman live streams, M and the Gang, Beer Bellied Hikers, or Beer Bellied Travelers. All these people, they're great people. We're in a great family, I believe. I call it a family, the YouTube family. It's a great group of people, and we just like to get together, do live streams, and have a really good time. Get in on the conversations. It's awesome. So, well, hope you guys all enjoyed. And this is I'm coming from the Roush Gap shelter area on the Appalachian Trail. So pretty neat. It was about a 5.5 mile hike in here or so. So, well, we will get back to you later on. And hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.